Hello again, Warren here for the Peach State Prime Transformers channel, and today we have a little bit of a different video. We're actually going to be taking a look at several figures because I have a question for Hasbro, and that is, dude, where's my Throttlebots? And I'll dive into what I mean by that here, so hope you join me, and let's take a look and see if maybe we could find an answer or encourage Hasbro to give us an answer here, especially the one that we want. Alright, so you saw them zoom across, so the Throttlebots, for those that don't remember, is actually a team of 6 Autobot warriors that were released in 1987, and I have 3 of them. First we have Rollbar, then we have Chase, and then probably the most well-known Throttlebot is Goldbug. Not in this video are Freeway, Searchlight, and Wideload. Now, these were released, again, as I showed just a minute ago, they have the pullback mechanism with the idea that they could throttle their speed to go fast to charge into battle against the evil Decepticons. Transformation on these guys were always very simple. You just kind of flip up the sides or kind of the doors here. You could, if you're a kid, you can play like they're flying. But anyways, you just lift up, push in on the wheels, and then tilt the rear of the vehicle back. So let's go ahead and get the rest of these guys in robot mode. Now, these were super simple toys of the time. As a kid, these were some of the first Transformers I had. I was born in 1984, so I was very young when I got into Transformers, around 86, 87. So I liked these. They were simple to transform. I loved the stark contrast in colors. I was always a particular fan of the kind of the neon red / pink on Chase there, coupled with the blue. And again, they still have their charging mechanism. You can pull back while they're in robot mode, and they'll take off. Very much a precursor to these were the Decepticon battle chargers, Run Amok, Run About. And these are kind of simplified versions. So, again, for a G1 style figure, these were always really cool. They kind of replaced the Minibots in 87. But anyways, going back to what I posed at the beginning of the vehicle is, where's our Throttlebots? We have so many figures being redone for Generations and Studio Series, but the Throttlebots have gone virtually ignored by Hasbro. And I'd like to know why, because, these were actually featured in media. They were in the Rebirth. The Rebirth, and then they were in the comics, the Marvel G1 comics, and so again, especially Goldbug. Now there has been a little bit of love given to these guys, but not much over the years. Give you an example. So let's start with Goldbug. Goldbug, for those who forgot or never knew, Goldbug is a reformatted G1 Bumblebee. As we saw, and it happened in the comics too, but as we also saw in The Return of Optimus Prime, Part 2, Bumblebee was damaged and was rebuilt. He was, severely damaged, so it was rebuilt in the Goldbug, kind of a shiny VW bug. And, famously in The Return of Optimus Prime Part 2, he says to Optimus Prime, who returned, boy, I feel better than good old Bumblebee, Optimus Prime. I feel like a gold bug. And Optimus Prime goes, well, that's who you'll be from now on, old friend. Goldbug. So, that's, Goldbug's origins, for those that didn't know. But really, the first time we got another Goldbug, and I'm not talking about Bumblebee, I'm talking about Goldbug specifically, wasn't this Legends Class Reveal the Shield toy that came out. And, it was the line that had, the classic rub signs again. And this was a Legends Class Bumblebee repainted in the gold colors here. Somewhat reminiscent of the G1 Goldbug toy that we have on screen right now. And, he very much does have Bumblebee's face versus Goldbug's face. But for a Legends Class, I can let that slide. So this was a nice little nod to Goldbug. Then later on, we did get 2 Generations releases. Neither one really hit the mark. Well, one did. But in 2013, we had Goldfire released as part of Generations. Very much inspired by his IDW design, which, again, was more of a repainted, slightly retooled Bumblebee. And then we also had in 2022, now this one was more to my liking, in a Target exclusive box set, Creatures Collide, there was a repainted VW Generations Bumblebee. It was the mold used actually twice for Walmart now. One was the Netflix release, as it's known by, and then it was also released in the G1 retro packaging. And this same mold was used and repainted in gold colors with a remolded head as Goldbug, again, for that Creatures Collide pack. And, it was really the main figure, one of the 2 figures I wanted from the pack, and couldn't swing the $80 to $90 at the time, and that one has a high resale value. But, that being said, I think Goldbug here still deserves his own release that's not tied to a Bumblebee mold, which I know is going to be very hard for Hasbro to commit to doing. Going back over to Chase, we did have one additional release in Titan's Return of Chase. It was a Legends Class figure right here. Oops. These Throttlebots, the originals, stand a lot better. I wonder why. He looks kind of janky here. This guy does fall on my shelf a lot. Anyways, so this was the Titan's Return Legends Class. Kind of a nice homage to the original Chase. However, the colors are a little bit more red versus that 80s, again, neon red, pink, whatever you want to call it, that kind of made Chase special there. You still do have the gold on the face and, the blue on the head. So, not a bad homage, but, just a little Legends Class figure, that I feel could be a little improved upon, but again, not a terrible homage there. Then we have Rollbar. Now, there was one other figure that came out named Rollbar, and that was way back, if you remember the Alternators line, where we had, whoa, okay, this one's out of frame, so I'm going to back us up here. Alternators were a line of high-end figures that resembled, realistic and licensed alternate modes. Of course, this one was licensed by Jeep. And as you can see here, other than transforming into a Jeep, that's where the similarities end. This Alternators figure is really Rollbar in name only. Really doesn't invoke any of the original aesthetic of the G1 figure or the character itself as he appeared in other media, again, comics, TV shows, you name it. Now, again, not pictured here. So, Freeway, there really hasn't been any love shown to Freeway or Searchlight in terms of name only or subsequent releases for the characters. Wideload, which is probably one of the more unique Throttlebots, being that big orange dump truck. Really, the only additional release was way back in the Classics line. There was a Minicon team where he was used as a Decepticon. Really, I believe it was the Minicon Destruction team. Really, again, not the same character in lore or toy or colors, anything. If anything, it looks more like a Constructicon, and Hasbro just didn't want to use the long haul name because, you know, they had other plans for it or whatever the case was at the time. So, again, I go back to my question, Hasbro, where's my Throttlebots? So, I love to see, you know, generations, you know, they don't really see them. I mean, yeah, they're in the cartoon, but unless they go that route outside of the 86 movie, I don't see them going in studio series. I see them going in some form of generations. I'd love to see deluxe figures for these guys, just like we got for many of the Minibots. For example, you know, Cosmos here. Cosmos was very much, you know, a small little Minibot figure back when we first got him in G1. They beefed him up, made him a very sought-after deluxe figure, and he looks great. So, you know, why can't we do the same for our Throttlebots here? You know, I would even go as far as to say I would like a HasLab, you know, box set of all 6 Throttlebots done differently. If that doesn't work, you know, individual generations releases would be great. You know, I would even go as far, if Hasbro wanted to make a whole new price point, if they even want to put it in their children's line, right now that would be Cyber World. But whatever it is at the time of the release, and make them spring-loaded so, you know, they can throttle or, you know, rush into action, make them pullbacks again. That would be awesome as well, you know. Or, again, if we just have standard transforming generations figures, I'd love that as well. You know, another point I want to make there, we did get the Decepticon Battle Chargers as figures. So, again, you know, they had the very much the same pullback mechanism back in G1. So, I think the Throttlebots would do equally as well as individual figures. You know, make them up individual releases, box set exclusive, go back and do selects directly through Hasbro and specialty retailers. I think that'd be great. I mean, they've done other obscure figure teams as well. So we get our Diaclone repaints and retools that have come out. The one that still gets me is we have all 4 Deluxe Insecticons. And the Deluxe Insecticons never appeared in any of the original media, the comics or the cartoons. Then we even got the Monster Bots, which again have very limited to no presence in any media. But yet we got all 3 of them, headmasters or not. We even got Duocons, which again were based on a play pattern and again really in no media. So Hasbro, again, where's the love for the Throttlebots? I mean, they were in the show, they were in the comics, very cool toys, very cool. I mean, you have one that's, I mean, yeah, you've given a little love to Bumblebee, but Goldbug, only because of his Bumblebee connection. But again, I think these would make for some really great, just like I said, deluxe figures or whatever you want to do, as long as they look the same and they're an update from the G1 figures, which, I mean, come on, I loved these as a kid and I loved them for the fact, you know, for nostalgia purposes, but you know, it wouldn't take much to upgrade these figures. Whether you take existing tooling, I mean, you have so many Autobot cars you could use for Searchlight, Freeway, and Chase here. You have a plethora of Bumblebees you can do, and you know, maybe you could even take a Hound or a Swindle and make a Rollbar out of it. Wideload, I'd have to take a look around, but I'm sure that I could come up with something. But again, there's a ton of options. And again, I'm talking partials. You know, yes, I'd love original molds, but if we have to use some existing tooling, it's out there. So I love to see these guys get the respect they deserve. So anyways, I just had to go on that little, it's not really a rant, so to speak, but more of a question because, again, how can we not have these guys redone by now when again, we have all the other obscure teams and some characters? Heck, I'll throw one more out there. So we don't have new Throttlebots. I'm going to have to back the camera up for this one. We have two Lyokaisers out there now. One of them being a HasLab. This one being, of course, the Titans Return box set that was released. And, you know, these are Japanese characters that are fairly obscure to American audiences. However, we got two full sets of a combiner, whether one's a HasLab or not, and yet no Throttlebots. So, I guess my purpose of this video is, again, to pose the question, hopefully get Hasbro's attention, get some people talking. You know, if you get to meet Hasbro, you know, if you're ever at a convention and they're there and they have reps, maybe throw the idea out there to their design team, or if there's any way to, you know, submit that feedback. I definitely encourage you to, and I know I'll do the same, but I would just absolutely love that set. Alright, so that's going to wrap up this video. Again, not really a rant, more of an observation and a plea, again, to Hasbro. Make us some new Throttlebots. They deserve it. We deserve it as fans. Anyways, leave a comment in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you want to see the Throttlebots redone? You know, is there another team, another obscure, again, they're not really obscure, but another team that you feel has been left out from all the generation / studio series love that we've gotten here over the years? You know, again, leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and it made you think, hey, yes, we need new Throttlebots, give it a like here on YouTube. And, of course, subscribe to the Peach State Prime Transformers channel for more Transformers content. Whether it's figure reviews, thoughts like this, or anything else that comes my way that seems like it'd make a great video. Also, if you're into Southern travel, whether it be destinations, shopping at unique stores, including toy stores, check out my other channel at Peach State Prime Southern Travel, and you can enjoy those videos as well. Anyways, again, my name's Warren. Thank you very much for watching this video and taking your time out of your day. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. God bless. Make it a great one.